got the red worms a couple years ago, and they've kind of outgrown the small container that I have for them. So we're gonna harvest the castings. I don't have any kind of special sifter. I need to build it, but for this time, we're just gonna harvest it the most simple way I can think of. We're just gonna dump it out in here, and then I'm gonna sift through it, grab all the worms I can out. I know that a lot of the eggs and the cocoons are going to get tossed out with the castings, but the castings are essentially just gonna go in our garden. So it's sort of the easiest way. It's just a job I gotta get done right now without building a sifter and all that. So I'm just gonna pour that in here, and we'll just kind of start separating stuff, and we'll be building kind of a new place for them so that they have a lot more room to expand. All right, so the way that this works here, this particular worm bin, is that you start with, you know, 1 or 2 bins or whatever, and the worms, you put waste at the top, and the worms will just kind of feed and come to the top. So at the top here, we've got some new stuff that we put in there. We've got some shredded stuff, and you can see there's a ton of worms at the top. So we're not gonna mess with this one. We're gonna leave that for them. We're gonna pull this second one, and we'll see how that is. So they are heavy, lots of castings in there. Should have been done a while ago. Very, very busy. Couldn't get to it. So, got that there. The second one, I see a lot of worms, a lot of castings, not a whole bunch of food. They've pretty well got it all ate down. So take that off. At the bottom, again, a lot of castings and not a lot of worms, but some. So we're gonna dump this into this here, and now we have this empty. So this empty one is now going to be where we fill with fresh new stuff, new bedding, which I'll show you what I'm using in a second, as well as some new scraps and waste. So I got a lot of castings that have kind of went to the bottom, along with a lot of worms that have kind of came down here as well. Not a lot, but a few. Probably just searching out more place to live, since it's been so long since I've done this. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this bin as well. There's basically very few worms in there, a lot of castings. So I'm just gonna go ahead and harvest it as well. It's for the most part completely broke down. I see a little bit of like some eggshells and some newspaper stuff in here, but for the most part it's a lot of castings. So I'm gonna get that out of here. That'll give plenty of room to start feeding again and start the whole process over. So there is like this giant thing of newspaper in here that they did not break down. But that's okay. I think what happened is it just got a little wet and they didn't want to start breaking it down, but that's all right. We'll just throw it right back in our new worm bin. Okay, so here was our top one. We're gonna set that now on the bottom. We're gonna put our empty one right here on top. Actually, I'm gonna take some of this stuff out because it's not wanting to fit down. So I'm gonna take this newspaper and leave that down there. So take this newspaper. They don't seem to like it flat like that. So if you can definitely tear up your newspaper or shred it before you put it in there, I'd recommend that, because I'm not having any luck. I thought maybe they would break this down, but they're just not wanting to break it down. That's okay. So we'll shred that up. Same thing with this. just didn't want to mess with it, didn't want to break it down. So we're gonna just kind of shred it up a little bit for them, get a little bit more loose. Seems to be what they like. Okay, now we're gonna take this, put that on the top, and even this out. So this is mostly just bedding. So where I get my bedding is my daughter has guinea pigs. So we'll take this guinea pig bedding every time we clean it out. So it's just kind of a recycled cardboard kind of stuff we buy. It's not too expensive. I'd rather not buy it, but I don't have a way to shred cardboard or anything right now. So as you can see, there's some hay and grass and stuff that we feed the guinea pigs that they waste. There's also a lot of guinea pig droppings, which the worms really seem to like. So like I said, we're going to, again, put this tray that we just cleaned out of worm castings. We just dumped all these worm castings into here. And we're gonna put this on top, and we're going to fill it up with the worm bedding, more bedding. Give them some more to break down. Also, seeing a lot of guinea pig hair and stuff, all that stuff, they do a pretty good job of breaking this down. You can add a lot of other stuff to it, but this is the bulk of the bedding that we use. Okay. Now we might add just a little bit of moisture to that, but not much, because it was getting kind of wet in here, wetter than I think they liked it. And I think that's why they were looking for routes to escape. So we don't want to get it that wet anymore. That's probably the hardest thing I've found about raising worms, is trying to figure out how to keep it the moisture level that they like. It's like as soon as you get it to the moisture level that you want, it starts getting too moist. Then you start going the other way and get dry, and it's just like never ends. But never ends. We might not ever get it perfect, but we're sure gonna try our best. Dumping the rest of the bedding here into the top. And now this is gonna give them 2 more trays to move up into, start raising their little worm families in. All right. So now I've got this top tray, and I can start adding my food scraps. So my food scraps, I got a big giant crate from the grocery store of bananas. If I was a little bit more on top of stuff, I might have tried to make some banana bread, but I just didn't get to it. And as you can see, even for banana bread, that's pretty far gone. So these worms will definitely enjoy this, and they won't go to waste. So gonna kind of break this up just a little bit. I don't think you have to, but we're gonna do it mostly because I want to be able to have a nice flat surface so that I can put my lid on. And this stuff like this, these stickers on here, I wish they wouldn't even put them on there, but I know they probably got to be able to scan whatever. So those are kind of like a plastic material, and those will not break down. So I take those off. I've put them in before, and then, you know, your worms, they break down everything, and then you get your castings, and then you'll find little pieces of stickers and plastic in there, and you're like, uh-oh, I don't really want to go through and dig all that out. So I just stopped doing it, because I don't want that stuff going into my garden. It's not that it probably would hurt anything, but we got enough plastic floating around on Earth that I probably don't need to add to it. All right. So we're getting kind of on the full side here. I don't think this is going to fit all these bananas. They might have to go some to the chickens. Hey chickens, you want some bananas? They're just hanging out over here behind the camera. Oh, no, those are the ducks. The ducks want the bananas. They love the bananas. Come on, don't be afraid. Check it out. they're getting kind of hesitant, you know, because I'm tossing stuff at them that's usually like a reason to run away. But they'll probably chill out and then come back. Meh. Oh, my dog is over there eating the bananas. Didn't realize dogs liked bananas. He's just kind of licking it. He's not into it. He realized what it was. 90% of the time when I'm throwing something, it's because I want him to fetch it or throwing something delicious. So probably just got a little confused. This time it's for the chickens, buddy. So if you can, I don't know if you can see the dog hanging out here in front, but she's like way pregnant. Like any time she's gonna be popping out puppies. And we don't know who the dad is. He's kind of a deadbeat, I guess, but maybe you don't even know about him, so it might not be his fault. Oh man, that's just too far gone. That just ain't gonna make very good banana bread. Do you want some? You can have it, I guess. You try it. It's probably good for you. I don't know if you should eat the peels. Here. Good. Okay, that's probably all you need. We don't want to experiment too much. Okay. So this is, I got about like an inch of gap in this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure my lid still fits good. A couple worms hanging out here on top. Okay. So I think I could probably fit just a few more in there. Man, I've almost got through these, but I just don't think I just don't want to jam it too tight in there. Oh man, I hope they like bananas, because there's a lot of bananas in there. You should definitely aim for variety. I've found they love variety, but in this case, I really got to get rid of these bananas, and I don't think the dogs are gonna eat enough, so they're gonna go in there, and then I'll start adding more stuff after this. There's gonna be, it's gonna be kind of banana heavy for a little while. Just gonna be kind of banana heavy. Like, they're gonna be pretty tired of bananas before this is said and done. Alright, so this also came with some cardboard, and thinking about, yeah, just gonna add some more bulk here. Maybe kind of soak up some of them juices. Throw that on top. I've been surprised at what worms will kind of like break down. I've put stuff in there. I don't think they're going to be able to break this down before it gets smelly and nasty, but man, they are hard workers. They're the hardest workers around, man. They never stop, it seems like. They just go and go and go and eat. Alright, so I better stop there. Cool. Alright, so we'll throw the lid on. And so the only thing that I have left to do, besides clean this up because it's getting nasty, is to sift through my castings. So I've got a ton of castings here, and I've got a few like eggshells and stuff, but this is just going directly into the garden, so I ain't worried about all that. So, but there is some worms in here, so while it's mostly castings, there is still some worms, and there's no worm left behind. I'm just kidding. There's usually a lot of worms left behind that I can't get them all out, but I do try. So we're gonna, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring everything to the side here, and I'm hoping what happens is that these worms will try to get away from the sunlight, and so they'll kind of burrow down, and then I can harvest that off the top. And then I can just keep doing it until I just have like, you know, a couple handful of castings that's mostly worms. And then I'm just going to toss those back right in top there, so that kind of gives them just a little burst of population growth in that top basket. And those worms can start breaking those bananas down, because I got a lot of bananas in there and I'm kind of concerned that they're going to start stinking. So anyway, that's how I empty my worm bin, harvest my castings, kind of like the really fast and not really convenient way, because it's not the best way to do it, but if you want to get them out, it does work. And this is how I've been doing it for a little while now. And I really need to get around to getting a sifter and stuff. And when I do, I'll make sure and post a video of how much more effective that I'm hoping that will work. So anyway, got this all set up now. And we just got to move it back in. I'll clean it up a little bit. And that's going to be some happy worms in there. And hopefully they'll just keep rising to the top and breaking down that stuff. And then they'll just keep working hard, making excellent compost, excellent worm castings, and they'll keep breaking down my kitchen scraps, so I feel a little bit less guilty about wasting so much food.